Good morning, gang. It's just past 7 a.m. this morning, and we're gonna do a food vlog. There we are. Oh my god, I'm sorry, my leggings. What's up, everyone? Jamie Band here. Today I'm gonna show you how to maintain a high protein diet under limit purchase conditions and where to shop for your groceries. Let's go. So here I've prepared part of our recipe for today. It's actually meant to be a bean soup. You can do it Asian style or you can do it Western style with like a broth. It's up to you, but it's definitely full of protein and nutrients. There's red kidney beans, black eye beans, and I'm going to add some lentils later when these have soaked in properly. Whilst we wait, I wanted to talk about the grocery shopping aspect a little bit. As some of you will know, many of the supermarkets here in the UK have introduced a limit purchase condition, and I was going through my own struggle, so I wanted to make this video to share my advice after fumbling around like a headless chicken. And one community post in particular from a fellow YouTuber really did it for me, and so let me just turn on my computer and show you that. Now, just before we start touching the keyboard, we're gonna wipe it good, wipe it just like you should. There we are. Log on to youtube.com. My, this is slow. Well, I guess everyone's on the internet now since they're all at home. Yes, COVID-19, I know. I'm covering it right now. Here is a community post by a YouTuber called Mario How. And this post is a guide to it's a guide to find toilet roll in the UK. But as you can imagine, where you find toilet roll, you're going to find groceries because they go hand in hand and you wouldn't really buy one without buying the other. So I think this guide works. So this is a guide that's consolidated 4 points. Allow me to translate. Number 1, to go to your local Indian or Eastern European off-license stores or Chinese supermarkets might have a better chance. Number 2, superstores restock during midnight, so you can try before 7 a.m. if you queue up there. I personally tried number 2. I went to a Tesco Extra, like a superstore, and I arrived around 7:15. There were shoppers there, but the shelves were restocked and still had things to sell, and I managed to buy everything I needed for the household. 3 would be to become a Prime member on Amazon because shipping will be faster and will be free of charge. Yeah, actually, my friend tried check this one out because he's a Prime member, and I think it was perhaps within a week or so to deliver. But for you guys who are actually Prime members, you probably know better than I do. And number 4, meat and fresh vegetables. You can go to the butchers on the market, have more selection, and that's pretty much it. But I mean, the first 2 are pretty good points. I think Amazon is good for like toilet roll and probably some dried foods. I mean, like, you know, I showed you the beans earlier and they're all like dried food products. You might be able to find them online, or you might be able to find them in the off-license stores as well as superstores. Before we head in the kitchen, I'm gonna just check on my beans. Oh my, look, they've inflated. So I'm gonna have to change to a bigger pot. So for you guys, I'll let you know this is 500 grams of dried beans, and I'm going to add another 200 grams of green lentils into my mixture. So 700 grams of beans. You're definitely going to need a bigger pot than that. But the green lentils don't need to be soaked. They just basically go into cold water and then you just fast boil for 10 minutes and then let them simmer for another 20. But I guess I will boil these for probably an hour and a half, anywhere like that. We'll see. Before I dig into my breakfast and show you what I'm having, I just wanted to complete the guide for grocery shopping because I think that's the main concern for most people. The fact that you can't actually buy any food, let alone cook it, right? So I logged on to Tesco online and had a look at some of their most wanted items. So I searched for brown rice because now is as good a time as any to start eating whole grain foods because whole grain foods has more protein per 100 grams and it's going to keep you full for longer and will fill that nutritional quota. So let's just pick an item. I actually clicked on this earlier and it was out of stock, so I clicked tilde basmati brown rice. Here's another tab. Yeah, stalking myself on YouTube at the moment. The life of a small YouTuber. And so yeah, I've already put one in the basket. Never mind the high price tag first because number one, the Tesco brown rice was actually out of stock when I arrived at like 7:15, and people were already taking all the big items off the shelf. Like most of the pasta was off the shelf as well. So there's only like these expensive items left. Once you have something in your basket, is to click check out. And we're going to pretend we're actually going to make an order. So book a slot, home delivery or click and collect. We're going to choose click and collect because home delivery is completely unavailable right now. Click and collect. You're not going to find a time slot most likely until like 2 weeks later, like the latest one. Yeah, no slots. So going back to, we're going to search for the nearest available branch, and it has a list of places that have this item in stock. And since this is a pretty niche-y item, people are not going to fight you too much for it. You really want to go to a superstore, to be honest. So I picked the closest one to me and took a bus trip there. Now we can have our breakfast. So let me just introduce our traditional oats with water because I really want to save the soy milk for my tea and drinks. I'm only having around 200 mils of soy milk a day, or you could just have normal milk. All these things were available to buy at the superstore. Oats, like I could have bought like at least 3 packs of 1 kilogram oats, and like they were only like 75p each or something. So yeah, great deal. And let's check up on our beans. Our beans have soaked for a few hours. I only started soaking them at like 6, maybe like 6, 7 a.m. And yeah, let's just have a feel. They're kind of getting squishy. The black-eyed beans are good. Kidney beans could soak for a little bit longer, maybe. But I'm gonna add some more water, let them soak. So for my recipe today, I'm gonna do the Chinese version for soup. I'm just showing like an alternative way to how you can have your soup. I mean, broth is usually like thicker, right? But Chinese soup is kind of like water is water, and then like the contents is the contents. And because usually it's cooked in a pressure cooker for like at least an hour and a half, it actually releases the flavor of the ingredients, and you don't really need to add a lot of condiments or flavorings in there to make the stock. It's like it has the natural flavors, and you just need to add like maybe a bit of salt and a bit of sugar, and that's it. Like you could add carrots or legumes and stuff in here. Finally, now I can enjoy some breakfast. Just actually 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks ago, someone said to me, "Bon appetit." I wish I could accept that with open arms, but I'm rationing food now, just like a lot of people are probably. I hope we all get through this epidemic together safely and re-emerge stronger than before. Yes, what doesn't defeat us makes us stronger. Okay, it's finally lunchtime. It's actually quite late now, it's 4 p.m. I'm gonna just show you my preparation for late lunch and the soup. Here we have brown rice with lentils. Let me just stir it up. It's a mix of different brands of brown rice, because I don't have enough. Tilda and Co-op, brown rice and green lentils. 300 grams combined brown rice and 150 grams of green lentils, which is gonna last me 3 meals. That's about 800 to 900 combined calories for the whole meal, because I'm also going to be stir frying the remainder of my potatoes, which is about 100 grams here, and half of the mushrooms left here. So 1.5 mushrooms, that's about 40 grams. So yeah, this is more for flavor. Just like a variety of nutrients, more than anything. Just getting in your 5-a-day vegetables. Let's get going. So I've prepped all the ingredients, and here's about a tablespoon of oil, and I've added some more water in there to stop it from burning up. Originally it's about 750 mils of water. I added maybe like another 200 mils maybe. Yeah, and it's been going for about 20 minutes. A total 30 minutes cook time. And actually I just brought to boil and then I simmer for 30 minutes. Okay, so let's add the oil. This is rapeseed oil. Heat up the pan. I should have heated it up first, but anyway, I'm a clumsy cook. Okay, it's not working because we have only one big hob, which is this one. So I need to reprioritize, because this can take this time and cook, but I really need a big enough pan to stir fry. Since I'm recording with one hand, I'll just have to kind of like take it off the hob first. Yeah, this is going to be a bit tricky with one hand. Yeah, don't follow my bad cooking practices. Use an actual spatula. Yeah, these are mushrooms. I don't want to put these in yet. So just stir fry these for 2-3 minutes. Add some salt, a pinch of salt, and then we're going to add the mushrooms in about 3-4 minutes. Okay, so the stir fry's been in for 3-4 minutes. You can see it's like browning. I don't want it to be fully cooked though, so we're going to add the mushrooms now. Mind a little bit, we'll get that in a sec. Let's sit in for a sec. And now I'm going to add some. Either you can use butter, or you can just use like whatever spread you have, margarine. I use Lurpak. Spread actually helps to supplement what little oil I put in earlier. So I don't want it to be too oily, but slightly salted spread actually helps with the flavor of the mushrooms. And then the potatoes are flavored separately by a pinch of salt. So they all have their own flavor. So I'm just going to do this for another 3 minutes after I put in the mushrooms. So total cook time is about 7 to 8 minutes stir frying, and then we're going to take it off the wok. So you see this like nice browning. It's okay if it's slightly brown, as long as it doesn't smell burnt afterwards, because I did do kind of like medium-sized slices, if you noticed. Yeah, so not the thinnest slices, because I don't want them to cook too quick, and I don't want them to be uncooked at the same time. And I'm preparing different ingredients, so yeah, that chunky kind of like wide medium slice gives it that bit more texture when you bite into them. Ideally, I'm looking for that slightly charred barbecue kind of stir fry look to it, and it's starting to smell pretty good now. Yeah, I haven't turned on the fan because it's going to be too loud for me to talk. And so okay, so we're ready to serve. I'm going to turn off the gas on this one. Take this one off the hob as well because I need time to check it. And yeah, let's just plate this up real quick. There we are. Stir fry mushroom and potato. And yeah, can't get that piece out there. That takes about 8 minutes to stir fry. And make sure you have your salt and your spread ready to use just before you start. And make sure you turn off all the hobs. And I'm going to check on this rice as well. So I checked the bottom, a slight scraping sound, so I guess there's something sticking at the bottom, but nothing too major. I checked the top and I checked the bottom. Hang on. Yeah, it's nice and soft, fluffy. Yeah, the main thing is just make sure the rice is not hard, otherwise you're going to be like eating like pebble rocks. Make sure there's enough water for it to cook, almost 1 liter of water, like 750 to begin with, and I added like another 200 because this is a very small pot, sorry. So coming back to the soup, just for precaution's sake, I rinsed them off and put 2.5 liters of water in there, because ideally I want this soup to boil down to about like 2 liters or just under. Comes down to about 170 something grams of protein, and I suppose you only really need like just under 30 per meal. So we're just going to leave it to boil for about half an hour before, we'll check in half an hour, but it might have to boil for an hour to hour and a half total. So I'll wait till the last 30 minutes and then I'll add the lentils in there. In terms of the seasoning, just under 10 grams of salt. I suppose I should have used stock cubes to replace the original flavor that I poured out from the water. I'm going to use 2 cubes, just under 2 cubes, because I've already added the salt. And I didn't really want any like palm oil in the soup because I wanted this to be like a healthy meal. So I'm gonna opt to not use gravy granules. Okay, so as an extra side of vegetables, I fished out the rest of a romaine heart, boiled them a little bit because I haven't washed them since I bought them. There's actually a new report saying virus particles can leave residue up to 72 hours on vegetables and on surfaces and stuff. So I will publish this properly in another video once I have completed my research. Just can't tell all the time. This will be good for your hygiene before you eat in general. Okay. When you said you couldn't take us too seriously, I must admit I was okay, so there's my side, and this is my late afternoon lunch. Yeah, I hope people are not going to know me as slightly burnt rice man after this. I added 2 slices of bread as well, so daily I have about 6 slices of bread right now, from like a 20 slice loaf, 800 gram loaf, so it's like 40 gram per slice. And so I actually stored away half of the potatoes and mushroom because I really don't have that many fresh vegetables right now, and I don't want to have to go out that often. And for tea, there's the tattered remains of my morning tea, a second refill, but I'm just happy to tuck into lunch right now. And I will show you the progress on the soup in a second. Back on the soup. It's been boiling for just under 30 minutes now. And I've already added most of the lentils in just now because I need to do it one-handed. And I've tasted and they seem ready and good to eat, and the flavor is on point, not too salty. I would say the texture for the other beans are already okay, but I wanted this to be more like a traditional, like long boiled Chinese soup, because in our tradition, the longer you boil it for, so like between like an hour and 2 hours, brings out all the internal flavors of all the ingredients, which is why it tastes a bit different from Western broths, where you put in more external flavor into there. We usually rely more on the internal flavors of the ingredients themselves, and we try to put in minimal seasoning. So I'm just going to let this boil for another 20 to 30 minutes and then we'll see. The soup is just about done. It's been in for about an hour. It's turned into a very thick broth, and yeah, although it's kind of like murky and like brown in color, that's basically like all the flavor that's come out from the beans. And it doesn't really matter if it's turned into like a thick broth with like less water or what, because as long as the flavor is on point and the soup is not burning and the beans are actually mediumly soft. I mean, like usually you would boil this for like an hour and a half though, so if you want it like soft. But I also did the last half an hour without the lids, so yeah, that's fine. And if you need it to be like more diluted, then I guess you could add water to it later, because I just wanted it to be easier to store in the fridge. Here is our bean soup all done. I'm just gonna put it into storage. Here we are. Our final finished bean soup. Looks kind of like a Chinese dessert, but anyway. Yeah, so it's not exactly like really frothy, but I ended up boiling it for an hour and a half. Let it sit for another 13 minutes with the lid on. Yeah, I managed to find the lid, by the way. Yeah, and whilst I was boiling it, I did refill the water back up to about 2.5 liters, back where it started. There's like a kind of like ring around like the big pot, and it's quite easy to follow. So every like 15-20 minutes I refill a little bit, and then up till the last 15 minutes I refilled it back up to 2.5 liters and just let it like fast boil for another 15 minutes just to push that final flavor out. So the beans should be like soft. Okay, I'm just gonna test it on the bigger red kidney bean. Yeah, really soft, just like beans are supposed to be when they've been cooked thoroughly. And this soup is really full of flavor. If I had to comment like a review on how I cooked the soup, I would have chosen to actually leave out the stock and just add salt. And yeah, I added 1 teaspoon-ish, well 7 grams of sugar into the whole pot, just to, because you know what they say, like you need variety of flavors in order to bring like the full palette of taste, so it's not just like one-dimensional like savory taste. And yeah, it's a really good nutritious meal to have. I mean, this by itself is like just over 100 grams of beans, so that would be about 400 calories. our final meal, I've got two alternatives for you to choose from, and this is what I found at the supermarket the other day. It's actually organic red lentil penne. So the reason I chose this is because it's super high in protein content. It's like 26 grams of protein per 100 gram weight. So it's the equivalent of 100 gram of pasta plus 80 to 100 grams of red lentils, all in one, combined. I don't know how they do it, but it works. But I noticed the water turns kind of this reddish color when you cook it. So I guess you would save the cooking water just in case some of the nutrients is lost through cooking. The other alternative would be high quality whole wheat pasta or fusilli. Oh, fusilli. Yeah. Anyway. So for the pasta, I decided to add about 100 grams, but that looks a little bit more than 100 grams, but still, there's still like 3/5 of the packet left. And I only use like 100 grams each time, so I have to presume it's correct. So let's just get started on this. I think I'm gonna put 500 mils of water or so. Don't really need that much to boil. I don't want to waste the water and then end up tipping it away, because I'm already gonna have another sauce which is gonna replace having to make a stock or anything, so I just want to let it evaporate. Meanwhile, we're gonna prepare the vegetables for this meal. I think we'll just go with something light because we've had a lot of fiber already today, and we've had a lot of beans, so we're not going to go with broad beans. So let's go with sprouts. Not the most popular, but they actually taste great if you steam them. Don't need to add any extra flavor. Sprouts have their own unique flavor to them, so it actually tastes quite good if you know how to cook them. So we're just gonna have 50 grams of sprouts. It's like 6 sprouts, because we're gonna have a pasta sauce and vegetarian fish goujons. So it's basically like fried soya pieces, which I'm gonna put in the oven. The pasta seems to be cooking nicely. I think it's been cooking for about 5 minutes now. And we're just going to turn on the oven. Right, so on you turn, and turn it to max heat, just so it warms up quicker. There should be a flame going on in there. Yeah, we're just going to let that go for 10 minutes or whatever. Yeah, you can see it's pretty late. This should have been the evening meal for what, maybe like 8 p.m, but just been filming and had other errands to run. So yeah, so much for my 6 sprouts. We had a bit of a failure in here. Yeah, just not gonna have that, so add an extra one. For the sprouts, I just rinse them in cool water just to get rid of any possible nasties right now, and just give it that little bit of re-moisture before I steam them. And I'm going to put this plate over the top and then steam it for a minute and a half because there are only like 6 in there. And these need to go in the oven now, I guess, although it may not have preheated enough yet, but I don't have any extra plates to put them, so just to go in there. And we've already had quite a few calories today, so I'm not going to put any extra oil on them. Just leave that for maybe 15 minutes. The plate over here. goes for a minute and a half. Now that's done, we lift the plate off and wow, look at those, beautiful. And it smells great too. Yeah, let me just place that down. So we're gonna add the tomato sauce in here in a sec with the pasta. That is also cooked. So I just want to give it a couple minutes just to absorb some of that starch water back in, because I don't know what to do with it. It's like, there's no point in pouring it away. Normally with the starch water, I could actually just add like a teaspoon of gravy granules and just like turn it into like a small stock. But I think we've already used like a lot of salt in our cooking today, and just want to try to keep under that 6 gram guideline. So look, checking on my veggie fish fillets. Nice and it's kind of soft. I mean, I guess there's some moisture from the freezing, but we'll just have to make do. Finally, get some sizzling going on here. It's looking good. Yeah, this is why I didn't want to add any more oil, because there is some initially in there. I guess just needed to be hot enough. So on to the final part of our sauce making. So you can see there's still a little bit of starch water, but at least most of it was reabsorbed back into the pasta. So it's actually better nutrients for you, because most of us tend to just like boil the pasta and just tip it away, which is a bit of a waste. So this is my tomato. Is it called passata? Correct me if I'm wrong. It's basically like a tomato sauce. Instead of like tinned, like chopped tomatoes, this is more like a sauce, but it's not exactly like ketchup, it's actually tomato sauce. And I'm just going to pour in like maybe half. This is really like some water and stuff like that. And the pasta is reheated. See, pretty consistent fluency, although there was some pre-existing liquid in there. You'll find like tomato sauce is pretty like, how do you call it? Even if you dilute it, there's still that like citrus taste to it. So, but I'm okay with that. And this is quite well done. Yeah, you can hear from the sounds of it. It's quite a well done veggie fish fillet. So yeah, this is my dinner. This, I would say, the pasta is probably 370 calories, and then about maybe like 30 to 50 calories from the sprouts, and then another 30 calories from the sauce. I didn't add any other condiments to it, and the fish fillet's probably 120 to 150 calories. This veggie fish fillet is surprisingly well done. Last time, I remember the center was kind of like more mushy. Maybe the moisture from freezing got to it, and I didn't put it in the oven for long enough. This time the batter's good, I can taste a slight lemon inside, and it freakishly to actually the texture and the taste is kind of like fish. But yeah, that's just an extra comment for you. And to summarize our day of eating today, I made a spreadsheet for those of you who do like figures. I'm just gonna let you zoom in on that and have a quick look. It's all color coded in terms of the meals. So this in black would be the milk. the soya milk that I had, so that was had across the day, so I didn't color code that. So we have protein count, calorie count, salt count, and total salt count, which is like basically for the soup, because it's meant to be spread out over like 7 or 8 meals or whatever. But I put like 12 grams of salt to cook it, so that's the total salt count. Okay, sorry guys, I had to edit out some of the original footage because it was too long-winded, but there are 2 services I feel are absolutely essential I must introduce, because it's now the 26th of March and I hear people are queuing outside supermarkets waiting to even get in. So for vulnerable persons and people who are sick or people in the related household, I think this is an excellent choice. Number 1 is MuscleFoods.com. It's a delivery service. You can get all your groceries from there, anything from meat, dairy, even vegetarian and vegan options are available. I myself am a vegetarian and vegan, and I managed to get all my groceries there as well. Mostly went for things that were could just store anywhere without putting in the fridge or freezer, because I have limited space, but you might have a choice. Go and have a look at that website. And second one is Trussell Trust, which is the biggest food bank corporation in the UK apparently. Monzo Bank actually sent me the link for that, and you can call them or look on their website and they will tell you which referral service to contact, because they have a verification where you have to make your claim, and then the system or the company will prioritize which people can get food stamps. And about food stamps, basically you need a food stamp in order to get your food rations. Each food ration is about 3 days worth of food, and yes, and that's basically some of the social services out there for people who are really in need. I'm sure, although these services are plastered with inquiries, just like every other public service right now, do give it a try if you are in need. I feel like we have to do anything possible to manage our individual situations now. And all the best of luck to you guys. Go have a look at that. I'll leave the links in the description below so you can have a look. Don't get any sponsorship money for introducing these services. The information was basically sent to me by 5 friends or my other subscription services like bank or whatever, and I just wanted to collect all my useful information and share it out with as many people as I can in a timely manner. And for those of you who are wondering, this was a vegan friendly and bodybuilding hardgainer friendly tutorial, because personally I am a vegetarian vegan by personal choice, and I have a hardgainer body type, which is basically people who are interested in bodybuilding but really struggle to put on muscle despite extensive training, sleep and other aspects as well. As much as I would have liked to do a nice edit to recap each meal of the day along with associated nutritional information, I simply do not have enough time to get out all the essential content about coronavirus prevention and other essential information. So I hope you guys, I hope for your understanding, and if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, comment down below, let us know what you thought and what you would like to see in the future. I'll try my best to cover that content. Subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell down there so you don't miss new updates. And that's it for today. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.